Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Game Changer. I'm Maryam Zia. Pakistan has long grappled with energy insecurity, and when we look at South Asian region as a whole, the region faces energy trilemma, that is energy insecurity, energy equity, and of course environmental sustainability issues as well. When we look at the recent reports that were by International Energy Agency, they of course projected a staggering growth in energy demands for the South Asian region, and of course there are a number of energy pipelines and energy initiatives that needs progress, and of course a lot of work has also been done on CASA 1000 TAPAI, but in today's program we will be looking at of course the hurdles that have been hindering these projects, what needs to be done to address these issues, and to of course ensure the energy demands that are needed by this region are of course ensured by the interconnectedness of the region. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Mr. Sheharyar, who is an analyst. Welcome to the program. We are also joined by Mr. Humayun Iqbal Shami, who is economist and chairman Pakistan Economic Forum. Welcome to the program. And we are joined online by Mr. Irtiza Shafaat, who is geopolitical analyst and researcher at Center for Public Policy and Governance. Welcome to the program. Mr. Humayun, let me start with you. Of course, when we talk about South Asian region as are indicated by IEA reports, of course it is in need of energy, and Central Asian states are rich in energy. Interconnectedness has remained an issue due to geopolitical, of course, issues as well as other problems. At this point in time, in your opinion, what are the main issues that is hindering this interconnectedness and regional connectivity, especially when we talk about energy initiatives?
Thank you very much. I think the biggest issue, as you described, is the political issues are there. Unless you don't solve the political issues, economic issues, they remain intact, and this is very difficult to solve. As we have seen in SAARC, because there are the political differences and this could not be solved. Therefore, SAARC is not very efficient, and even we don't have very big trade we have not seen any big trade among the countries. So same is the same, because if you are connecting, because this energy, the north of India is actually now a big economy now. Now it's coming up almost a fifth biggest economy in the world. So they are the big consumers of the energy. They are the biggest, after the China, they are the biggest importer of the oil and gas also. So the cheapest way is to get it from the Central Asian countries, and even from Pakistan. But Pakistan is obviously in between between Central Asia and Pakistan. And we have seen in past also that there is a trust deficit. Trust deficit is that you might know that there was an Iran-Pakistan India gas pipeline. At time it was started, it was basically named like that. But then India just pulled it out itself, voluntarily. There is no compulsion from any other country. Other Iran wanted it, Pakistan wanted it. Because
but don't you think there was a bit of US pressure as well when we talk about IPI project?
There was pressure. Actually, they made a bargaining with India. They got that and the nuclear energy, peaceful nuclear energy deal with them. But the basic what they wanted to pull out, because was that they had a trust deficit in Pakistan. That this pipeline, Pakistan, because it will pass through Pakistan for about 600-700 kilometers, and Pakistan will have an edge over that. It can stop it anywhere. Though in international treaties and international relations, this is not possible very easily. But even then, there is a trust deficit. And same is with the TAPI. Still, there is not much progress is there. Though TAPI is being sponsored by the World Bank, and it is also with the help of US wants this that it should be integrated. But even then, not much progress has been made so far. So that is actually an issue. A trust deficit is a basic issue, which is hindering the connectivity of this. Even Pakistan, this northern area of Pakistan having a potential. Only with the Indus River we have a potential with the existing technologies about 100,000 megawatt, the potential from only the I'm talking about idle potential, hydro energy, you know. But even then, and Pakistan at this moment, Pakistan is almost, you know, its installed capacity is about 40,000, whereas in winter our you know, utilization hardly come to about 10. So we have surplus. We are paying you know, the installed charges and, you know, fixed charges, but we cannot export it to India because India has a trust deficit. So these political hindrances, you know, this is the basic challenge.
Let me take the same question to Mr. Irtiza. In your opinion, what are some specific challenges or hindrances that have, of course, challenged the successful implementation of these energy projects, specifically when we talk about, of course, CASA 1000?
I think this is all of this is happening in a checkered regional environment where South Asia is incidentally the least integrated region, and in one sense, if we even look at the European Union, for example, which is the holy grail for, you know, economic integration leading to political integration, starting with the European Coal and Steel Community in 1952 after the World War, and the unification of the industries of Germany and France, leading on to the political union, which is considered by at least by liberal analysts and researchers as unique, a unique moment in human history. So broadly speaking, in terms of the broader power configurations, the US-Indian nexus with the Quad, whilst China on the other side there are implications for that as well. But as Mr. Kissinger said, foreign policy and regional policy is it's an extension of domestic policy.
Mr. Irtiza, when we talk about these cross-border energy projects, in your opinion, what can be done in this regard? Of course, there are a number of challenges, including geopolitics, as well as international oil pricing and energy dynamics and energy politics. Of course, global energy politics having its impact on this region as well. How do you think, what kind of measures should be taken by the government to ensure energy security for Pakistan, of course, by leveraging these energy initiatives, cross-border energy trade?
I mean, on paper, you can find all sorts of prescriptive elements and frameworks to find those variables which work for the betterment of everyone. But I think practically, I think it's first and foremost a political issue which requires, you know, seasoned politicians to take over, and serious diplomatic efforts, sustainable diplomatic efforts, which can, because I think the elephant is in the room in a way, and that needs to be figured out first. In theory, we know what the solutions are, but maybe the structural realities don't lead us towards finding implementable programs for those solutions. And I think it's first and foremost a political issue. We, as a citizen of Pakistan, for example, with the gas load shedding and with the way Suez resources have been depleted, this is a problem which hits home, especially with the rising prices as well. And I would have other experts talk about, energy experts to take on as far as the prescriptive solutions are concerned.
Right, and let me take, of course, viewpoint of Mr. Sheharyar on this. Sheharyar, when we talk about, of course, CASA 1000 project, in your opinion, what kind of opportunities does it represent to Pakistan in case of course, regional connectivity? Because we know the issues, like Irtiza also alluded to, the issues, but what kind of opportunities it presents to Pakistan?
So it's a very lucrative project when it comes to the energy needs of Pakistan. Now, Kyrgyzstan.
And it was supposed to be completed in 2020.
Yes, exactly. At that time, there was the previous Afghan regime there, and World Bank was like financing this project. And around 18% of the towers were already constructed. And then after the Taliban took over and there was a change in the regime in Afghanistan, the World Bank stopped financing this project. Again, the reasons are geopolitical, and obviously the international recognition of the interim Afghan regime right now is a big issue. Now, good news has like come in 5 days ago. The World Bank has now agreed to refinance this project. Otherwise, it would have been categorized as a dead asset project. So now what is happening is that the World Bank, what are the issues that the World Bank was having? The World Bank obviously cannot like finance the interim Afghan government because of the international sanctions, and they're not connected to the international financial frameworks as well.
Right.
Now what they're basically doing is they're doing a ring financing type of financing, in which the consultants and the organizations will be paid internationally, and they will make sure that the money does not flow into Afghanistan. So the countries that are involved, like Kyrgyzstan, then there's Pakistan, Tajikistan, so they will be like now getting finance from the World Bank, and the Afghan regime will be isolated in the sense that they won't be receiving any funding directly from the World Bank. So this arrangement was done after a lot of diplomatic hustle that went on between these three projects.
But do you think that CASA 1000 is going to be implemented completely without Afghanistan, of course, building its own part of the pipeline in the region?
No, the pipeline will be built in Afghanistan as well.
Right.
But there are obviously no international companies or engineers.
But what about the security issues if Taliban are not on board?
So the Taliban have already agreed in informal meetings that they would be providing around 3,000 personnel to ensure that the security is provided to the part that flows through Afghanistan. And the Afghan regime, like the current Taliban government, they also go into international forums and forums, and they basically say that they are the de facto legitimate power holders of Afghanistan, and ensuring security inside the geographical bounds of Afghanistan is the responsibility of the Taliban, as they basically also project in international forums. So this is like one project that is like moving forward. The most of the projects that come from Central Asia, there are like a few issues that they always face. One is passing through Afghanistan and the non-recognition of the Afghanistan regime. Then the second most biggest issue that comes in is international financing. The Asian Development Bank or the World Bank or other multilateral institutions are reluctant in investing or like financing on any of these projects. So with the financing.
But Sheharyar, don't you think these are historic issues? Of course, let me take Humayun Saab's opinion on this. That don't you think that these are historic issues when we talk about specifically CASA 1000, keeping in mind that this was supposed to be completed, at least 90% would have been done. So what's your take on the progress of CASA 1000?
Actually, the thing is that it was an over optimistic project actually. Where you have a linkage, first of all, I just make it correct that this is not the pipeline, this is basically the transmission line is coming.
Of course,
it's an electricity,
yes, electricity transmission,
not the pipeline coming.
Yes.
So, but even then transmission line, the basic agreement was that every country will build its own part of transmission. So Pakistan almost have a very good network in between, within Pakistan there is no problem. Pakistan can link it at any time, it's almost ready, because if we have to get be connected through Torkham, so maybe we might have to do some additional work for maybe 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, not more than that, which is not very difficult job. But the basic thing is the Afghan, Afghan territory. The thing is that if you get it implemented, you get the World Bank, who will get it implemented, that they will be responsible for security, but who will ensure this security, because the world doesn't recognize the Afghan Taliban, so how they are accountable to the world, this is very complex. And then the other thing was that this CASA project, only you will get the energy only for 3 months, in the peak season, in the summer. Obviously we have a lot of demand for that, at that season, but even then, then at that time our own dams are generating huge electricity. So I didn't think that it was a very useful, it was a well thought project, but anyhow, now since you are a part of that project, so if World Bank gets some solution, because connectivity from Pakistan is not a big issue to the Afghanistan, but ensuring that the infrastructure is built in the Afghanistan, because Afghan terrain is also very difficult. Afghan terrain towards the north, towards the Tajikistan side, because mostly it's the mountainous, and then the security issues is, then all these challenges. So I think
Right.
if we
So-
get it, I mean,
Right. So, Mr. Humayun, as you are mentioning that, of course, this is not a very lucrative project. Maybe we were
not very over optimistic.
over optimistic as
Optimistic.
well. But what alternate frameworks, energy frameworks, would you suggest for the region? Because this region being least connected but full of energy resources in, of course, Central Asia and South Asian countries in need of those energy resources.
True.
What kind of energy frameworks should we be having? Do we need some kind of framework in which there are standard procedures in which, of course, all the member states have some kind of framework that they can align or harmonize on? But when we look at the regional bodies as well, like SARC, it is ineffective. What about the role of SCO in this regard?
SCO can play a big role. SCO can definitely play a big role, because India is also part of that. Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran, even all the Central Asian countries are part of that. And there are two big players there, China and Russia. So both can get it implemented. I think SCO forum can be good, but SCO basically. I don't think that SCO will be. Will be very, because the energy will be the transmission will be from the Central Asian country, which are not part of the Russia at now. It used to be part of Soviet Union at times, so they will not be very optimistic about
But
that.
Russia is also looking to diversify its markets after EU's, of course, backing out and moving
All
towards
the thing-
green technologies and green corridors.
The thing is this: the problem with these SCO and problem with the SARC is that they don't interfere in the political and the interrelated issues is between the countries. That is the problem with them. We cannot interfere. So I mean this these issues is if SCO take it, because if you have to stronger the SCO, maybe because SCO can become, because looking at China, India, and all these countries, I think they account almost half of the population of the world,
Yes.
and one of the biggest market, and if you look at the GDP, China is now at number 2, and India is about 5th, and Russia is also among the 20s, and I mean, so it's a big market, it could be a big economy, but SCO has to make it charter. I mean, Pakistan can move it, that instead, because we look at the UN, that they will settle the problem, the political problem, the diplomatic problem between the countries like Pakistan and India. They have a issue like Kashmir or some other issues. The same way India has some issues with Bangladesh, same way India has in SARC some issues. Pakistan having some issues with Afghanistan. Pakistan recently had some issues with Iran also. So these issues is let them to. I mean, if there is no better way except to have a dialogue on a proper dialogue. The thing is that India is not ready to sit on any dialogue. That is the problem. If they say it goes on, so I think some solution will definitely come out, and this will be a big benefit, and this will be a game changer, real game changer for the whole area.
Right.
So
Right.
that is the
Let
issue.
me take Irtiza on board. Irtiza, do you think that these energy projects can actually act as a role model for addressing these security concerns within the region?
I absolutely think so. I mean, it does become a chicken or the egg, but in one way, these projects, economic integration can lead to political integration, as opposed to political integration leading to economic integration. But maybe not to, it's probably not a good idea to see these things in binaries as well, right? Everything works along together, and in that broader sense, it obviously just looking at energy might be a little reductionist, so to speak, with SARC becoming so important, and SCO does provide some kind of opportunity for the region, but it again does not have like binding force in security matters, for example. So I think it as was said by Harun Saab, I think it requires seasoned leadership to maybe find a new kind of direction for the region. Long-term planning, I think, is of the essence at this point in time, because ad hocism and short-termism, especially in regional matters, has impacted this situation adversely, and it's the citizenry of these countries who suffer, and especially Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, because we're not we're weaker players in the whole kind of framework of this framework. On the other hand, I think with elections in India happening in 3 months, maybe there will be a new kind of setting which will emerge. I don't know. I can't predict, so to speak, but maybe that will provide some kind of clarity and direction for the Pakistani policy-making elite to maybe negotiate from a position of strength, of course, because India's dealing with Pakistan in the last 10 years leaves a lot to be questioned for, because it has been more of a realist kind of like endeavor as opposed to having any kind of genuine integrative liberal concerns.
Let me take this point to the studios. Of course, Sheharyar, when we talk about India's role, Humayun Saab earlier mentioned about IPI, but what about the progress on TAPI? Do you think that financial constraints have been the only issue when we talk about this important project? Because energy, of course, security is not only the issue that Pakistan is facing, but India is also facing. Other neighboring countries in the region are also facing, and we have rich resources within the region. And what's your take on this TAPI project and its progress so far?
So Maryam, like the TAPI project has been a key victim of the geopolitical considerations of like all countries involved. India does not, as Harun Saab has also mentioned, has views Pakistan with a lot of distrust. And looking at the TAPI gas pipeline, they basically see it as a national security issue, and they do not trust that pipeline going through Pakistan, and that can be used against India, like as we saw in the case of Russia and the European Union with the Nord Stream and all those gas pipelines. Other than that, Turkmenistan historically has been a close and a very staunch ally of Russia as well. So the geopolitical considerations over there are also important, that Turkmenistan historically has been aligned with Russia. Russia now, as you also mentioned in your introduction, is now looking to find new emerging markets where it can also export its gas and like natural resources, and South Asia, GCC, or even like Southeast Asia is like a market that Russia also wants to explore.
Of course.
So other than Turkmenistan, Russia has also a lot of interest in the development of this pipeline. Other than that, again, financing.
Can you tell us when was this TAPI project supposed to be completed?
Historically, you can say 2018, but obviously geopolitical considerations, lack of financing, now the political situation in Afghanistan. So there all have been hindrances when it comes to the completion of this project. Again, India pulling out. India has been relatively quiet when it comes to this project. They haven't like said that they won't be taking a part in it, but they have been very strategically silent.
And what about the role of developmental partners in this? Those, of course, international organizations who were actually going to be financing this. Is there a mechanism to monitor the progress on such crucial energy projects?
Again, like most of the times in the Carrick project, ADB was approached many times on the financing of this project, and they also have been very reluctant when it comes to hardcore financing. Now, again, when it comes to the geopolitical situation, the security situation, and the international recognition of the Taliban regime, that is like one of the main hindrances over there, and a lot of like multilateral financial institutions have not shown a lot of interest in financing. And this is one project that is cost heavy. So the cost right now projected for this project is around $10 billion. So we can like see Turkmenistan's main customer right now is China. And when it comes to the geopolitical considerations of Turkmenistan as well, it also wants to diversify and does not want to be fully dependent on China for its exports as well. So the will is there. The political considerations and the geopolitical, I think, considerations are also aligned. But India, like if India also like observes that this pipeline is like up and running and it's providing a lot of like benefits to the regional countries, then I personally think if the political situation between Pakistan and India can be somewhat managed in terms of like at least commerce, trade, and economic integration, then India would also want to be part of this project as well. It's like 33 billion cubic volume of gas every year that's like available. And when it comes to the needs of Pakistan, when it comes to the industrial needs of India, it's like a big number that India would want to be on part of it as well.
Of course. And Mr. Humayun, when
Achha, just
right, sure.
before that, putting a question, I would like to have a comment on the
Please go
what he
ahead.
said
Please
about
go
that. He said that I don't know his name, but
Irtiza.
Mr. Irtiza. Mr. Irtiza said these things that the SCO forum could be effective, but it is not a binding force. That is obviously it's not like a United Nations. But my issue is not that binding force, because when this is decided in a forum of 10, 11 countries, so it becomes automatically it becomes a binding. Like you have seen in Panchayat, in Panchayat, in the local area.
And the sole purpose of SCO is to, of course, enhance regional
connectivity. So unless these and the thing is this, Pakistan, India at now, it is very eager to have a trade relationship, to get energy from Central Asia and getting away from it, and that the only way goes through Pakistan,
True.
And Pakistan definitely, Pakistan rightfully, I fully agree with the policy, foreign policy. Pakistan is using this tool for a bargaining purposes also. That India should settle all those political issues with Pakistan, and there are not much issues. Kashmir is a big issue. So if there is settlement, so then it will give away and go. And I tell you the economic benefits of the good relation between India and Pakistan are mostly in favor of India, because India will get the whole connectivity towards Central Asia. Russia, if he has to go to Russia, the shortest route goes from there. If going from China area, going from and even to the Europe, This, I mean, in the last G20 summit, they had a big project like going from connectivity between Bombay and the Europe, and this is just, I mean, I'll say it's a paper. I issued a immediately after that I prepared a vlog, and that's on the net also,
right,
where I said that this project is just a useless project, because going from Bombay to to Dubai through the port, through the sea route, and then a railway connectivity will go from there
right,
to
this has been called
then again go to the ambitious, but
yes,
the shortest route for trading with is the Pakistan, Iran and Turkey, and already route is there. So just you have to develop the infrastructure. So India will have I think many a time more benefits if it has a good relation with Pakistan and trade. So India want to seek this, I mean they want this thing, but Pakistan is using as a tool that Pakistan, in any case, Pakistan wants to get these political issues,
right,
because so this is my I think that it becomes a binding
but at
almost.
the same time, Mr. Humayun, of course Pakistan energy sector has also suffered, and when we look at the global energy politics, do you think that has played a role in Pakistan's of course impacting the progress that Pakistan's energy sector has made?
Very well. Actually, the thing is, the priorities in Pakistan, the whatsoever the crisis we have facing now, this Pakistan has 100 million mega. I told you 100,000 megawatt. We have the energy, we can produce energy only from the industry. So there are the sites were there, but sites were after Tarbela in 1976. We didn't have any imported things were there. Import means when the oil prices went up, when the CNG LNG prices gone up, like this coal prices have gone up. So we have the big chunk of that. Our prices are either from the coal, either from the LNG, either from the furnace. All the prices are going up. So we are getting it very heavy, we are paying very heavy price. Otherwise, Pakistan, it's not as hungry of the energy as India needs.
Right, but with the new government coming in, do you think that what kind of measures would you suggest to the new government to enhance the effectiveness of these energy projects?
First of all, is that no energy projects have to be taken from the economic point of view instead of the political point of view. At this moment, the problem is that we should go only for those projects at this moment which have no imported costs, no fuel costs, like I mean hydel project is one of those example, and the hydel we have to choose those hydel projects which are the most effective and most economic effective, instead to go for those projects with like this, this project, this Bhasha project, which the estimates are that it will the energy cost will be 28 rupees per unit from there, So how it is effective, you know, you can see it, you know, like we are getting from this Neelam Jela, we have, you know, so energy cost is about 22, it's giving about 22 rupees a unit cost, you know. So because you have taken the loans, you have to pay those you know, expenses also. So then nutshell it becomes, so maybe after 30 years or 20 years it will, the prices will go down with the
So efficacy of these projects remain a question as well.
yeah, priority, I mean, looking at that from the technical and the economic point of view is that has to be focused. Instead to do at the political level that this province, this one, no, look all those projects from the economic point of view. Pakistan has the potential of doing that, and at this moment the thing is that already in, you know, we have installed capacity about 40 megawatt, 40,000 megawatt, whereas now in this winter time the demand goes even to 10,000, and in the peak time, you know, in summer we go about 34. So that time almost sometime we have even shortage sometime, because there are some projects are, you know, if they are not working at that time. But otherwise, you know, at this moment we have to see that in the winter also we should utilize all those energy instead to pay the fixed cost, you know. So that's because, you know, that shifting from the gas to the, I mean, industry should be given this incentive by giving the price tag, you know, lowering the price. So then it will be good, because energy costs will come down definitely. Right. So the utilization of energy is a big problem now at this moment. Utilization, the existing resources, even that is a big problem for Pakistan. And had India, you know, Pakistan and India have a good relationship, so I think this energy could have easily be transmitted to India very easily. Because
right, and talking about these, of course, geopolitical issues and energy trilemma that South Asian region is facing, Irtiza, in your opinion, how can South Asian countries can collaborate to address this energy trilemma of course, security, security as well as equity and environmental sustainability? Do you think that regional organizations like we mentioned earlier can play their role, or the political leadership has to come forward?
I agree with the viewpoint which was given just before. I was talking about a collective security mechanism which is binding for the SCO, which is sometimes something the SARC lacks as well. Because, I mean, I agree with the assertion that there needs to be a move away from the high politics to the low politics as well, and maybe these projects, the intra-regional trade, people-to-people exchanges, and the epistemic communities coming together, for example, can provide some avenues. But I mean, at this point in time, I don't think the BJP leadership wants to engage with Pakistan, even though it makes economic sense because of the security dilemma that we find ourselves in. And maybe we need to, at least in the Indian-Pakistani context, we need to figure out those broader fault lines and find some mechanisms to solve them, and maybe everything else can flow from that. The debate comes back to the political issues which become hindrances, because otherwise common sense dictates, and all sorts of intellectual reason does dictate that we are able to, you know, have economic interdependence which can solve things, especially for the impoverished masses of the region.
Right. Lastly, Sheharyar, in your opinion, how do you think, of course, we know the challenges, but how do you think that South Asian countries should be collaborating to harness the potential, the energy potential that lies in these Central Asian, of course, states?
So, Maryam, will have to look at this whole project as a regional integration project. And not just judge this only on the basis of getting electricity, power. You know, it has a very holistic view. It has to be connected through roads, through people to people, business to business.
Make it as a stepping stone towards larger projects.
Yes, exactly. So, if you look at each and every individual project and start assessing the pros and cons of that, obviously some projects will be feasible, some will be very profitable, some will be negligible. But if you look at all of these projects holistically, and the road infrastructure and people-to-people connections, when it comes to tourism, when it comes to exchange and organizations, when it comes to joint research facilities, when it comes to cooperation on various fronts. So that economic integration in this whole region is very lacking.
Right.
And I think like we have to take a holistic approach and like look towards the future, which is more integrated for us and for the future generations.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheharyar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Humayun, Iqbal, Shami, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Syed, Irtiza, Shafaat, for joining us in today's program. Of course, when we talk about energy projects that connect Central Asia and South Asia, the challenges are huge. But at the same time, Pakistan as well as other regional countries are in need of energy, and Pakistan should be enhancing its diplomatic efforts to collaborate with other countries in the region to ensure implementation of these energy initiatives. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.